Welcome to Cutting Edge Web Content Development, the podcast where we delve into the world of CMS systems and their crucial role in website and web content development. In each episode, we'll explore the reasons why founders, CEOs, CTOs, and CMOs of web content development companies need CMS systems to thrive in the digital landscape. Get ready to uncover the secrets behind successful website management, content creation, and seamless user experiences. Here's your host, Jonathan Ames.
Welcome to Cutting Edge Web Content Development, a podcast by Butter CMS. Today we're joined by Ivana Flynn, a seasoned SEO consultant with a rich background across various industries, notably in the competitive iGaming sector. And she's going to talk to us about using Reddit in SEO. Welcome, Ivana.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm glad to have you on. Tell us a little bit about your background. What drew you to iGaming, and how has that shaped your approach to SEO?
iGaming is a very strong niche in Malta, where I live. So when I moved here from Scotland and I started to look for jobs, because before I was working still in SEO, but I was in the adult niche, I moved here and I was like, okay, what am I going to be doing? And the first thing you find is obviously all the hotels and all the travel industry. And that wasn't really my niche. And then I found iGaming, which was hiring like crazy. This was back in 2016. And I thought, okay, I'm looking into that, because coming from adult, little bit gray niche, going to gambling was sort of a naturally. And there's lots of jobs here and there's so much to learn. I was like, okay, what's this iGaming thing? Let's look into it. And that's how I ended up in it. I applied with Betson, which is a really huge company within iGaming, and I got lucky to be selected. I started to work there as a specialist and made my way through the iGaming companies and positions ever since.
Excellent. Well, tell us about this idea of Reddit as a strategic platform for SEO. I know, for those who don't know, Reddit is a social media platform. It's threads basically around a particular question that people ask. How could this be helpful for SEO?
Reddit is a very old platform and it's a community sort of where people share and talk about anything and everything. And obviously, since Google connected API with Reddit and made this little bit of web marriage, Reddit is suddenly overranking everything else and is ranking faster than anything else. Let's just go a little bit back in the history of Reddit. It was founded in 2005, which means it's a very, very old website with lots of people, lots of traffic, lots of backlinks, lots of content. So from Google, I think this was a step as a reply to all the AI growth, because they started to go more like user-generated content. And they thought, okay, we a little bit lost the race when it came to AI with ChatGPT, but we can support all the user-generated content. And therefore, we're going to go with Reddit, where people talk and ask and reply. And a lot of replies are horrible, and I wouldn't go with them. A lot of them are very useful. But in Reddit, you can find anything, literally anything, from how to dye your hair at home to how to give a pill to cat, or how to, learn SEO. And if you search in any of the countries, especially English speaking, almost every questions come up in the top 10 with Reddit. Usually it's position 1 or 2. So you'll do best casino sites, and Reddit would be there, or how to set up computer, and Reddit would be number 1. Everything is there. So you start to, as a marketeer, because you study traffic, obviously, you start to think, how can I use this? And if you are working in iGaming, obviously, constantly looking into new ways of traffic. We are very hungry for rankings. We are very hungry for traffic, and we don't mind to bend the rules a little bit. We like to be very innovative with our approach. Therefore, parasite SEO is being massively abused. Black hat SEO tactics are being abused. Black hat PPC tactics are being abused. All of that you will find in iGaming. So it is natural that we are looking into Reddit and we are looking into strategies, how to implement it. And there is just so much to do, because Reddit gives you options. You can either start your own subreddit, or you can post in some Reddits, or just comment and start to grow traffic from there. Obviously, I was always advised, create your own subreddit with something very niche. I wouldn't go casino, because that would be flagged as a lot of spam. Casino is not a word you can use on Reddit in the subreddit names. So I would be more creative, but there is always something you can find. Soccer is becoming very popular. Esports is very popular. Crypto payments, which of course we use them in iGaming, because not everybody wants to, use their credit card. And you always find that one little thing that you can build your subreddit about, build a huge community around that, and start to rank, because there are 2 ways to get traffic from it. Either building a community on a subreddit and people will go there, and that's organic social, obviously. So you will create an interesting subreddit with lots of pictures and memes or videos. People love those. It behaves like a social media. But then the value of the people coming through social media, organic social, is lower than actually organic, because organic, we always have the best value of customers or LTV of the customers, right? It's better than PPC, it's better than organic social. So if you are using them through Reddit, it's going to be organic social, which means their value is going to be lower and even the longevity of them is going to be lower. But if you use it as a parasite SEO and actually manage to rank your subreddit in Google, and people search for best online casino games for real money in India, and they go through that first result that would be your subreddit, that will be actually an organic result. So it's a little bit of, a lot of thinking, but there are two different ways of driving traffic and two different values of your customers that will come to your site.
What you're saying basically is by building a subreddit and then making a community out of that, you're able to get the subreddit to rank and then drive traffic through that to your site.
Exactly. You get to do that.
Understood.
And because subreddit is huge with massive link profile and lots of traffic, I mean, the biggest traffic is coming from USA, Canada, India, Australia, Germany, all of those rich markets for us, very attractive markets, UK, then you want to rank there. And you can, because Reddit is not going to be stopped from ranking. It's Google's tool. It's just like stopping YouTube from ranking. So yes, you can do that. You can optimize it. Obviously, you will need to work with it as an SEO site. You will need to create a good content. You will need to do links to it. You will need to internally link your posts, and then you can rank, and then you can actually take advantage of your subreddit in SERPs.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm sure a lot of people who are listening to this who may be thinking to themselves, well, Reddit's kind of like the Wild West. There's
yes, it is.
Good comments, bad comments, good content, bad content on there. It's very hard to control. How do you align a brand's strategy with user-created content without, shutting down kind of the viral nature of Reddit that really makes people enjoy it?
First of all, it's going to be your Reddit or subreddit, in this case, or your community. Therefore, you will be the moderator, and you need to moderate it to make sure people don't put lots of spam there, because you lose your subreddit due to spam, due to not being moderated enough. So you can still represent your brand in a proper way because you will be able to moderate it. Just like if you have an affiliate website built on WordPress and then you have comments in the bottom. You're not going to allow all of them. You're going to moderate them. You're going to make sure someone is not sending traffic to a competitor or trashing your brand. So you will make sure you moderate that and remove comments that are not good or,
So it's really just about moderating the content well and creating, not doing too much where you shut down people's creativity, but getting rid of things that are spammy.
The interesting thing about subreddit is as well, you don't have to rank in Google to immediately get traffic because you create your subreddit and it starts to appear on other people's feeds, just like social media, because you have interesting content. You can have a video, you can review a slot, you can review very popular crash games, right? That are really growing in India, for example, or Brazil. So if you are targeting those markets, and you can immediately have people coming to your subreddit the first few hours you created and have clicks to your website. So I made a test last week to Australia. My test really wanted to be Australia gambling is prohibited. If I put it on subreddit, is it going to be closed immediately? It wasn't, and it started to grow. And I put up a lot of slots reviews there and videos that people loved, and it started to grow. And in a few days, it picked up a few members and upvotes on some of the reviews. And then I thought, okay, let's put an affiliate link there just to see what it's doing. And my affiliate link got 100 clicks within a few hours. So people are looking for this because it's prohibited there. So in a day, it came to 220 clicks on that one affiliate link, just from that subreddit that was created 2 days ago and had no traffic from Google. So you had those organic social people looking for it. Obviously, the conversion rate is a little bit different than from organic. And as I said, the value is lower. That's why I know it, because I run those tests. But they are still players. They are still looking for it. So you can utilize this and start to grow traffic even before you rank that subreddit. So you can almost immediately start to make money on it. But subreddits in iGaming and other niches, I know people that are running this in legal or on adult, all of those industries that have money. In a moment you start to monetize it too heavily, it will get closed off. So I would be very careful how you monetize it, because you put a lot of work into it and it might get closed off. And lots of things can get closed off. So you can get closed off for being too active because you're just new subreddit with no karma. As a user, you have karma too, and you start to post too much and you have 20 posts a day. It's being seen as being too active and spammy, and they'll close you off. or you are not active enough, you've been closed off, or let's say you overtake a subreddit because lots of them get closed off, and you can request to take over a good subreddit that someone lost. So let's say you take a subreddit on PayPal money, and then you try to change it into casino, it will be closed off because it will be seen as unmoderated. So there are so many things. You need to be very careful how you do it, how you monetize it, and how you build it up. Too slow, too fast, not good. Too spammy, not good. Not spammy enough, not good because people will not come. So it is a very fragile environment.
It's a balance. So could you explain what karma is on Reddit for those who don't know what that means and how that affects SEO?
Karma, when you open your subreddit or your account, your karma is going to be 1. And to be active on subreddit, you need to have karma, especially on the good subreddits. You need a karma of 150 karma points plus 6 common karma points or things like that. Usually good subreddit, big ones, have their rules and you need to follow them. Other than that, you would not be able to comment, you will not be able to post. Now, in order to build up karma, you need to be active. So you need to find a way. It's a little bit of Ouroboros, like you need to publish, but you cannot publish. So you need to find subreddits that allow you to build up karma without having karma. So you need to go to the smaller subreddits and less commercial subreddits. So in my case, very difficult because I want to be in those gambling ones. But there are a lot of marketing forums that allow you to talk about marketing. And as I'm from SEO, I would do things like SEMrush or Ahrefs, which one you prefer. And people start to talk about it and you get upvotes and reshares and your karma is growing. Or you can do something very trending around Olympics. It could be about anything about Olympic games, anything trending, people start to talk. But what I found that is working the best is very cute pictures of animals. I have cats, so I put cats there and they just start to trend and you get lots of karma. And if you don't have karma, you are not able to become an active member of Reddit. In the moment you have karma, you can start to be more present. You can create posts in other subreddits, link to your subreddit and grow it that way for members, or comment. You can do nasty things like create a comment that doesn't link to your subreddit, create some upvotes and manipulate it a little bit. And when it's up, you can then edit it and put link to your subreddit. So lots of things you can do. But again, I will caution everyone to do it very carefully.
So karma is something that you can gain by being active on Reddit. It's like upvotes and shares, increase your karma. Is it something that Reddit controls or is it something user given by other users?
There is a Reddit algorithm that allows you to grow that karma, but you have to be active. So let's say for 10 upvotes, you get karma of 5. But it's Reddit points. It's Reddit points. And you can get downvotes, and the downvotes will, again, cost you your karma. So it's a very weird environment, but it's sort of like a currency. So you are allowed to go here and be active here.
I see. So you mentioned a few mistakes, people being too spammy or being too active or not active enough. What are some other common mistakes you see brands use when they're incorporating Reddit?
What I see extremely a lot is that they try to grow the traffic without having a build-up subreddit. So basically, they would try to post lots of links for people to go to their subreddit without having anything on that subreddit for people to interact with. So first of all, I always tell people, take your month maybe to study it and build up content and videos, pictures, memes, whatever is going to be your niche. Doesn't have to be iGaming, obviously, but something that is valuable. So when you make people to go from one subreddit to your subreddit, they actually have a reason to go there and revisit and become your member, because you want to grow your members. You want to grow the upvotes on your post. And if there is nothing on your subreddit, they have no reason to be there. Therefore, they will never return. So if you are doing football betting, make sure that you write about footballs and you give good tips and you give good, options, what people should do and what are the strategies and how they work. And I have a subreddit on that, and one is growing really nicely and steadily. And before there was international break, and before it came to an end, we published it's coming to an end, review some of these strategies. And that's when it took off. It's like we had 10 members and it was 100 suddenly, because we reminded them the strategies and people started to share it and love it. But we already had lots of posts there with 5 members. It took 2 months to build those 5 members. And then suddenly they were like, oh, okay, there was good tips. We're coming back. So it's like having a website. If you want people to come to your website, you need to have content. You need to have something for them on it. If you want a shop, you want them to purchase something, you need to have that product. And subreddit is exactly the same. If you don't have content, if you don't have any product for them, they will just not visit you again. You will leave and, you might again be seen as spamming, that you're putting too many links to an empty subreddit. So that will be removed. But this is one that I see every single time I speak to someone who wants to grow their Reddit.
Okay. So if someone's interested in this, Ivana, and they're thinking, maybe I should try this, how do they navigate the guidelines and make sure that the risk of building out all this content on a subreddit is worth it?
In my humble opinion, no matter how many times you read them, you understand them differently than the people that actually moderate Reddit and can remove your subreddit. So create 2 subreddits on 2 separate accounts, because if you have 2, 3, 5 subreddits on the same account, in a moment, one is being seen spammy, rest of them get closed off within 24 hours, in my opinion. And in my massive experience, because I've made this mistake over and over and over. Even if your subreddit is the most beautiful and is absolutely not commercial or spammy, another one is on the same account, you get closed off. So create separate accounts and run them separately, because if you make mistake, the other one is still staying. Try to diversify your strategy, obviously, and be careful. So you have a different account. If you are sitting in Malta as me and you are running strategy for Australia, change your IP address to Australia. Use different web browsers, just don't use all the time Chrome, because you want to not to create heavy digital footprint. If your subreddit gets closed off for spamming or whatever, clean up those cookies, make sure you're not connected, and be very, very careful. Behave a little bit like you don't want to be detected by subreddit if you lose one and you want to create another one. But even if it gets closed off, you will learn. Even if it gets closed off in a month and you invested in some content, you probably converted already someone through the link that you have there. So it's never in vain. But you might get closed. And every time I start to work with someone, I tell them, most likely, sooner or later, we will get closed off. Therefore, we're going to do those 3. And then we have got this one just in case next year something happens, because you might have this product next year. So I have a client now I'm talking to, and they might release product sometimes next year. We're starting with subreddit now. So in a moment, they have something, they already are ranking for it without having the product or the website. They'll already have an active subreddit because there is so much to write about it. You don't need to have a website. And then you can start to convert people without actually having a website. You can start to have your client base. So you can use it in so many ways. Just be clever about it. Don't be too greedy. Unless you want to run tests. I mean, I do test that. My purpose is to break it because I want to see how much I can push. And then I want to have subreddits that I don't want to break. And they still sometimes break. So be prepared for it, that it might. Don't beat yourself up and continue and learn from that mistake.
Yeah. I think with any social media, it's about the value of the content you're providing. And here, just because Reddit has some difficult to understand rules, I think it's similar to Google, where what's acceptable in 1 year, maybe 5 years later is no longer acceptable. So you have to understand that there's not always an evergreen safety in digital content. Things change. And so I love your idea of creating different subreddits, both for testing purposes as well as for the opportunity to insulate yourself against some of those changes in the future. And obviously, people coming to these subreddits and interacting and clicking through to your site are finding value in the content that you're providing. So it's just a matter of navigating the ever-changing rules of either Reddit or Google to try to connect that value with the people out there who are looking for it.
Exactly.
Well, Ivana, I want to ask you a question about something in your career. So
you said something very important. First of all, Google changes rule all the times, and we adapt. Subreddit is exactly the same. When I started with the subreddit, nobody was doing gambling, so I could be as spammy as I want to. Nobody had problem with it. Now you become a little bit spammy and you're closed off. Before, using casino was completely okay. Now it's not. You adapt. You don't give up. You adapt. And as well, one important thing about Reddit is that you're very anonymous there. So this is different to any other social media. On Insta or on Facebook, you actually grow your friends and you create like friends groups and you have got all your followers or your family in it. And maybe you don't want to be seen by them that you are doing gambling. Maybe it's something you keep to yourself, or that you are on diet. There are things that customers are there, but you don't want to be seen that you are following this diet or doing gambling. On Reddit, you get this massive visibility due to the anonymity because you don't have friends there. You are whatever, squirrel 123. No one cares. It's this extremely anonymous. Therefore, you get much more traction than you get from other social media. And this is the very interesting part I discovered, because it was always like, we try to do casino on Facebook and it gets closed off, doesn't get the traction. It gets some traction a little bit because people don't want to be seen with their family playing a game. And Reddit, it gives you this beautiful anonymity, which increases the base of players you can actually approach.
Yeah, very interesting. Good comments there. So what I was wanting to ask you about things you've learned over your career, if you could go in a time machine, meet yourself at the very beginning of your career and give yourself one piece of advice, something you've learned over the years that's really helped you, what piece of advice would you give yourself?
When I started in SEO, I'm originally a developer. So I was a developer. So I was a little bit scared all the time. I was like, what if it breaks? What if it breaks? One thing as an SEO, I say, test, break it, learn. Test, break it, learn. Now I know it. Now I don't care that I make mistakes. I'm proud of my mistakes because I know what I learned from them. But in the beginning, I was very ashamed if something didn't run. Like I was taking care of a client's website. As a developer, I wanted to test some script to make it prettier. It was an adult niche. And I accidentally set all the website to no index and completely forgotten about it. So all my number one rankings disappeared. And then the client came to me like, why am I not ranking? And I beaten myself about this for years. And I thought, you know what? I made a mistake. I fixed it. Like she told me she's not ranking. Then I was like, oh my goodness, no index tag. I knew right away. But I couldn't forgive myself for so long. And now I'll be like, well, it was a mistake. It was learning, So don't beat yourself up over mistake. Cherish them, celebrate them, learn from them, and do better next time. Don't give up because you made a boo-boo. Like, really not a biggie.
Thank you for sharing that, because I think everyone listening has made a mistake similar to what you just made. And they're like, oh, it's not just me.
Well, if you didn't make mistakes, you are not in SEO.
No. In fact, you really have to. All the good SEOs that I've interviewed, every single one of them has shared mistakes that they've made. And now they say, look, I look for these mistakes, just like you said, to break things, and then I can learn from that. And I think especially for those of you marketers and developers who are out there listening, it's okay to test things and break them. That's how you often learn.
Exactly.
So yeah, great advice. So any particular places you go to find inspiration, ideas that you would share with other people? Hey, go here to this conference or this website or this publication.
I'm very huge on conferences. I love conferences. I love speaking there and listening to other people because there is always so much knowledge. And especially in SEO conferences, we cherish each other. Like, oh, they're on a stage. We can give them support. And we all it's a different community of people, like we know how hard it is. We support each other. It's not a problem to talk. There is not a problem to ask questions. If you don't know, nobody judges you. So I love conferences, all of them that you can think of. I try to follow. I absolutely love podcasts on YouTube. That's how I fall asleep. I listen to something and I usually dream about the next day. I'm like, why didn't I think of that? And I'm going to test. I'm huge on testing. Everything I learn something new, I try to test it. And I love LinkedIn. That's my place to go. That's my place where I share things because it used to be Twitter, now X, and it's sort of dried up on the SEO knowledge and it moved to LinkedIn. And there's everyone and there's so much knowledge being shared, and anything that happens, you know about it immediately because someone's going to share it. So if you missed it, it's going to be there. You have got all the big names. You've got Alida Solis, you have got Barry Schwartz, you have got Lily Ray. Everybody is there sharing what they just found. And as I said, SEOs love to share. We don't do egos much in SEO. So it's like, oh, I learned that from her. Oh my goodness, I need to ask her. And they reply to you. You can write to John Miller with question and he actually replies. So LinkedIn is great, but those are my places. Conferences as well for the motivation, because like if you have a bad year and you just make mistake after mistake and Google just releases something and it ruins you, and you're thinking, like, I can't do this. And you go to conference, everybody's like, yeah, I had a bad year too. Like, it's fine. We're going to get through it. You get that support knowing that it's not just you. We all had it. And you just need to keep fighting. And obviously podcasts, people love to share their knowledge. The YouTube is a great place where you can find anything when you're learning something new or when you can figure out something. So podcasts are a massive thing for me.
Excellent. You mentioned you're on LinkedIn. So Ivana, if people want to connect with you, learn more, share things, where are the places they can connect with you?
Definitely on LinkedIn. That's where I'm the most active and that's where I get my knowledge. Lots of people write to me and ask questions. I always reply because I do the same. I reach out to people and ask like, how would you deal with this? Okay, sorry, I have this technical issue, cannot figure it out. Can you look at me? Can you help me look into this? And people are usually very helpful. So I try to pay back by being helpful. And then I have my own podcast on YouTube. So I share there a lot of knowledge. It's a little bit more to iGaming and it's called the SEO Club. But it's not your competition. It's really the SEO Club.
And is that on Apple or Spotify?
No, it's just on YouTube. And we always share things there. Like we interview lots of people and it's a lot of fun and see like, how was your year? Oh, okay, good. Mine too. But it's a really friendly place. And it was founded to avoid bullshitters because iGaming SEO, it's full of people that actually don't know, but they love to sell you services because in iGaming, we are known to have money. it is true, iGaming makes lots of money and invests lots of money, and you get lots of horrible people and agencies that just sell you services that are not going to help you. And this was founded by me and other two friends to make sure that if you are not a strong SEO, you at least detect that something is off and you ask someone and you ask for a second opinion. So that was the purpose of finding that. And because sometimes I speak to clients, why would you pay this much money for something that will never work? But they don't know. They would pay 60,000 for something that would never work because they're sending traffic to no index, no follow websites that are blocked in robots. And they're like, oh, why? And then they sell them links for 60,000 a month with no shame. So we wanted to create this sort of knowledge hub that people will detect something is off. I'll ask someone else, and then I'll make my purchase. And I actually have a good SEO because SEO is getting a bad rap within iGaming due to those bad agencies. And then we are like, oh, SEO, no, I don't want you.
No, that's great, Club. Great that you're doing that because that is a problem out there.
Oh,
There
yes.
certainly are unscrupulous people. Yeah. Ivana, I really appreciate you coming on to the podcast. Everyone go out there, follow Ivana Flynn on LinkedIn, listen to her podcast. Great advice and great insights. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for your time. And I hope you enjoy this podcast.
Cutting Edge Web Content Development is brought to you by Butter CMS. To find out how you can build better with Butter, stop wasting dev time, and free your marketers from your legacy CMS, visit buttercms.com. Also, make sure to search for Cutting Edge Web Content Development in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Make sure to click subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. On behalf of the team here at Butter CMS, thank you for listening.